Hi there everyone on a rather chilly, wet, rainy Thursday afternoon. Now, the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan is a stone's throw away. It is that time of the year where all Muslims throughout the world abstain from eating and drinking from sunrise until sunset. Over the past few days, we have been inundated with emails and phone calls from patients inquiring as to how should they go about managing their diabetes during the month of Ramadan. Hence, I decided to put together this video. Now, this topic hits right home as my dad is a diabetic and he has been a diabetic for a good couple of years right now. And even though diabetes is pretty much a part of our family history, Dad's diabetes was as a result of shock. So he was part of an armed robbery a few years ago, and that caused his pancreas to go into a state of shock and basically stop working. However, Dad manages to keep all his fasts during the month of Ramadan, and he manages his diabetes quite well. So, very briefly, what happens to our bodies when we start fasting? So, approximately 8 hours after our last meal, our body goes into a fasting state. So the body then utilizes stored glucose for energy, but this also puts a diabetic patient at risk of going into hypoglycemia if the patient is taking insulin or other medication. Thereafter, the body then utilizes stored fats in order to produce energy. So what are the symptoms of hypoglycemia? Hypoglycemia meaning that the blood sugar levels are very, very low. So the symptoms would be irritability, anxiety, tingling sensation on the lips, sweating, and also dizziness. Then we have the other extreme, which is hyperglycemia. In other words, the blood sugar levels are very, very high, possibly as a result of eating excessively during the night or binge eating, pushing up sugar levels. The symptoms there would be excessive urination, going to the toilet obviously frequently, and excessive thirst. So both these extremes are not good for the body. We need to try and maintain or have a consistent sugar level in our blood. Remember that as a diabetic, if you have a home blood sugar machine, you are entitled and you have that opportunity to test your blood sugar levels frequently whilst you're fasting. It does not nullify your fast. I think also perhaps it's a good idea to try and keep a few fasts before the fasting month to basically see how would your body react to you fasting, especially if you're taking insulin or other medications. Obviously, if you are a diabetic, rigorous exercise routines are not advisable whilst you're actually fasting. When you're breaking your fast, it is advisable to break your fast with slow release foods like porridge, lentils, dates, and of course lots of water. Now, as much as the savories look divine during the month of Ramadan, samosas, pakoras, pies, anything fried is a no-no, especially if you're a diabetic. Whilst residing in the Middle East, I found that the Arab community actually break their fast in a very, very healthy way. So they break their fast with a lot of dates and water, and then they consume a lot of laban. Now, laban is like a yogurt. It's basically like a yogurt, and it's very good for the stomach. It cools off the stomach lining. So remember, your stomach is empty for a good couple of hours. You don't want to have food that is extremely oily and spicy. It also damages the stomach lining. So they consume a lot of laban, and they also consume a drink made out of tamarind or amli. And they believe that it also regulates the sugar levels. They also consume a lot of salads at the time of breaking fast. It's the total opposite to what we actually do here in South Africa, with a lot of the women starting months in advance preparing pies and samosas and chicken harakis, and the list just goes on and on and on. So if you're a diabetic, try and stay away from fried foods. Have slow release foods. Also, if you feel that you're going into a hypoglycemia, or if you fear that your sugar levels are going to drop or go very low, keep a can of cold drink, keep something sugary in your bag. And if you cannot fast, or if you start feeling sick, break your fast. drink the cold drink, have a sandwich afterwards. God Almighty is definitely not going to punish you. I promise you that. God Almighty is very, very much a loving, forgiving, merciful God, and He would understand if you do not have that ability to actually fast. If you have any other questions regarding this topic, please feel free to drop us a mail at info@medix, that's info@medix.co.za, or call us at 011 672 0590.